Hello, it's KHOU meteorologist Kim Castro. We are watching some severe thunderstorms now bubbling up along this cold front, and we have just seen a radar indicated tornado pop up right now from Montgomery County into San Jacinto. We are seeing some strong wind and a rotational component to these thunderstorms. The reason we're seeing the severe weather, we've got very different air masses right here. So these storms are packing a punch as they're traveling through this warm, humid air that we've been seeing building in. So we are seeing rotation within these cells, which means you need to make sure you are seeking shelter. Try to get to the basement if you have a basement. Try to get to an indoor area if you are, again, in this vicinity. So this is for Montgomery and San Jacinto until 11:15. This means you want to get to a place away from windows. You want to make sure, if you don't have a basement, to try to get to an indoor room, maybe even a bathroom, a place that doesn't have appliances nearby, somewhere that you won't have the threat for any debris to be hitting you. So the severe thunderstorms we're also watching there, and that is going to be for Harris and Montgomery County. We just saw that pass the area, and it continues to intensify. So 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this system. It is tracking towards the southeast at around 25 to 30 miles an hour. I want to show you a dissection of these storms right here. So this one we're passing through is at 10,000 feet. Some of them are getting up to 30,000 feet. Now with those cells, we could start to see some small hail form too. So the threat from these storms that will be passing through your area within just the next couple of minutes at that rate, we are going to see some small hail, some strong wind, some localized downpours. And the reason I'm showing you the timeline of these and why they're moving so quickly is because at the rate that they're moving, we're going to see Spring impacted right around 11:05, 11:13. We're going to see Porter Heights, Humboldt, 11:24. And it continues to move rather quickly. So the threat for flood with these storms is going to be minimized because they are moving fast, but the severe element of it all is what has us under concern right now. Again, rotation has taken place, and that means we could see the possibility for some of these thunderstorms to reach the ground with those very fast wind speeds, which is why you want to make sure you're staying alert and staying indoors, away from windows, preferably if you have a basement, inside of your basement. Plenty of energy with these systems. You could see Doppler radar right now lighting up with these lightning bolts, and that means they are very charged and unstable. An unstable air mass with this cold air moving through is going to allow for the potential for some very strong damaging wind. We're talking about down trees, we're talking about power lines impacted, potentially some roof issues with these storm systems as well, and they are going to continue to push towards the Houston metro area in just a little bit. Here's the timing of these storms. Right around the lunch hour is when we're going to continue to watch for these storms to reach the Houston metro area, getting off to the coast right around the early afternoon hour. So just make sure you're staying very alert on this Saturday, especially in this early morning. These storms are packing a lot of punch. Like I mentioned, I'm actually going to go back and see if we have seen any new warnings pop up, because they're popping up really quickly and expiring quickly too. So within a couple of minutes, you could see a very quick burst of wet weather, a very quick shot of damaging wind, and we have just seen another severe thunderstorm pop up. So I'm going to put that up for you to take a look at there. So they are, again, pushing towards the southeast quickly. So right now, Harris, Liberty, Montgomery, and San Jacinto all under a severe thunderstorm warning. We are watching for the rotational component of these storms too. So the way we track that is we see winds starting to rotate and these thunderstorms starting to tilt. And once they start to tilt, once they get enough of a shift in wind, that's when they can start reaching the ground and start doing damage on the ground floor. Now these are packing wind speeds, like I mentioned, at 60 miles an hour, and that does give us the threat for down trees, power line issues, roof issues, and flying debris, which is why you don't want to be outside during these storms. Make sure you are staying inside, you're watching radar with us, and staying away from your windows. Make sure you're not looking out, trying to see what's going on out there. You want to make sure, especially if you're in these areas, in this box there with the orange. I'm going to take that away so you can see exactly what areas are being impacted right now. I'm going to zoom in for you, and I'm actually going to take away radar so you can see exactly what areas I'm talking about there. That box you see there in orange, that is indicating a severe thunderstorm warning, and that box there you see in pink shows we are seeing a radar indicated tornado. Wind speeds are 60 mile an hour plus with these storm systems, and they're moving fast at around 20 miles an hour. So you want to make sure, again, staying inside, staying very weather aware for today. The reason we have the potential for more of these to pop up in the next few minutes is because that's when we're seeing the line of storms push through. They're moving very quickly, and that means that they're going to pack a big punch very fast. It doesn't mean they're going to hover around for a long time, which is why the flood risk is minimized, but because they do move so quickly, it provides the element for tornadic activity, for rotation, and that's what brings us the biggest concern for today. I'm going to pop out again and see if we've seen any more of these storm systems pop up, but you can see it's a very thin line of storms, but very, very different air. You can see wind particles there from the north dipping down, very cold, very dry air. That works in opposition to the very warm, very humid air. Now, we saw the severe outbreak that happened to the north of us, and that's just because we've been seeing this type of weather pattern that is very typical for spring and summertime, which is why Tornado Alley was seeing those tornado outbursts the last few days. We're not expecting to see that impactful severe weather, but like we just saw, we did see rotation, and that's because we too are experiencing the same thing here. Warm air battling the dry air. That's unseasonable for this time of year, which is why we got to keep on high alert and just make sure we stay on top of the weather. Right now, those are set to expire within the next few minutes, but that's not to say that some new warnings aren't going to pop up. So we will be on social media making sure that we keep you informed as to which areas are having the potential for not only the severe thunderstorms, which could cause the small hail and the gusty wind, but what's more concerning, the rotational aspect of these storms. So seeing them start to rotate down into the ground, that's when we start to get even more concerned, especially for areas that are less protected. If you're in a car, don't be. If you're listening to this broadcast, make sure you get inside. And if you are in a mobile home, you want to make sure you get to a structure and preferably get to the bottom of a building if you can, to have something over you, especially again if you are in Montgomery and San Jacinto. This is for northeastern Montgomery and southwestern San Jacinto County. These are moving very fast, 25 to 35 miles an hour, so they are going to expire quickly. But like I mentioned, the areas out ahead of them have that same threat because they're now encountering that very cold, very dry air, and they're really working in opposition with one another. And you can imagine, once they collide with one another, that's when we start to see the rotation happen and the threat for some severe weather. So just make sure you stay with us all morning long. If we see another one of these tornado warnings pop up, we'll be back here live for you. Make sure that we're broadcasting that out to you. But otherwise, once these severe thunderstorms warnings pop up, I'll be sure to update you on social media. For now, just make sure you're watching radar and you're staying on top of us on social media.